hear KIS1 because he's still rapping to the same shit, the same music that he was rapping to in 1982. And then when it comes to the conspiracy theory stuff, they put out whatever KIS1 and all the people put out. It didn't sell no fucking album. So y'all want people to front money. You sign a deal. You take upfront money. And then it's a formula in place for the person that spent their money to recoup their money. And now you want to be like, nah, fuck y'all. I'm turning my back to y'all. Then why you take the advance? If you gonna turn your back, pay that fucking advance back before you go on stage. That's what I'm saying. So it's more to it than just this pro-black Redman and them was just some real G's. Did they pay the fucking advance back? No, they didn't pay the advance back. They still owe money. They had, matter of fact, after they did that, they had to do 2 more albums to complete their contract. They didn't turn no fucking advance money back in. And I like Redman. I like Red, and I do like Redman. But I'm just saying, that's my point. The way the New Yorkers look at stuff is from a very arrogant, we can't do no wrong standpoint. And the rest of the world, we ain't in New York. So we on the outside looking in like, God damn, did you pay that advance back, Redman, before you did that? Nah, you didn't pay it back. So why you talking shit then? If you really gonna be a G, get that money back, then turn your back. That's a Southern thing. We on some fuck y'all for real. Like we on some nigga, I put it in my trunk and sell 100,000 albums and make more money than you selling 10 million. That's what we on. And New Yorkers is on, oh, let me get that advance money. Nigga, we real hip hop. Oh, no, you not. No, you not, because we really about putting it in our trunk, pressing up our own album, and selling regionally and making more money. That's what we do.
You're listening to the Bean Pie Chronicles podcast. So kick off your leather socks and unpin your head wrap. The Bean Pie Chronicles is now on the air.
All right, y'all. One time. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. This is special edition Bean Pie Chronicles. Got my man Ahmed Just B, Dr. Riyadh, aka the Black Man. We're gonna be talking about this Islam and this hip hop culture, and this what we're gonna call Akbar hip hop, Islamic hip hop. So Just B is the artist, rap artist, one of my favorite rappers. Out of where you out of? Brooklyn.
I'm out of Brooklyn.
No doubt. You know what I'm saying? And my man Riyadh, I don't even want to really associate him with hip hop, except that ATL. All right.
Straight.
Oh man, you know, I guess we from New York, the home of the hip hop, and he's from where it currently resides. I guess you want to put it like that.
New York is not home of hip hop.
Oh my God.
New York.
Come on, bro.
Is home of extending the breakbeat. I give credit. I ain't no hater. I give credit where credit's due. New York is home of extending the breakbeat. New York is not home of rhyming with cadence. It ain't. You know what? Y'all are home to 2 things.
Oh God, here we go. Go ahead.
Extending the breakbeat and battle rap. Which battle rap is one of the wackest things ever, but it's popular, so people like it. That's what New York is home of. Extending the breakbeat and battle rap.
Yo, come on, man. You just gonna throw out history.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just history itself refutes what you're saying, man.
I know it though. I just did the video that Rappers Delight took from Old Boy, and Old Boy took that from Female Jamil, H-Rap Brown.
H-Rap Brown, you know, he said something in his book, you know, blah blah blah. He wasn't rapping.
Nope.
That was that pimp shit, like how pimps be talking, hey man, I'm a pimp, did it. Rap is not no pimp. Rap is not no pimp. Rapping is like back in the day, they might have said, yo, I got a smooth ass rap, you know. A pimp might have had smooth rap, like he could talk to a girl, or, you know, they did that to bag shorties, you know, and you run up on a pimp like, yo, what's up, pimp? Oh, my name is Silky, mother is Ilky, and that's not hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
What you mean that's not hip hop?
I mean, it's not hip hop.
now rap.
I mean, that's like saying hickory dickory dock, the man ran up the clock is rap. It's rhyming. It's rhyming.
Hip hop has, I don't know, y'all change every year. What is it? 5 elements of hip hop. What is it? Graffiti, breakdancing, rapping, DJing, and I don't know.
Right.
Whatever.
Correct.
But the thing that I'm saying is rapping is the most important element of hip hop. And rapping did not start in New York. Rapping the way New York rap did start. Now,
where did it start at?
It was all over the South.
Mm-hmm.
People rapping all over the South. You pull up black and white film after black and white film, jazz bars, from juke joints, all that type of from gospel groups. They were rapping. They had a cadence. They were rapping, but the issue that I have with New Yorkers is y'all will look at somebody like Jay-Z or somebody like Nas and just taking it and proliferating or Rakim, and y'all forget about how basic and corny y'all was rapping when it first came out. So it's like y'all don't look at it.
You do look at it like that. You do look at it like that.
Okay,
everybody
so
knows that hip hop, the hip. Everybody know that that's the beginning. But so we can't expect nobody to come up now, 2021, and be on hip hop level. He's like, yo, niggas is.
That's not the beginning. That's the beginning of recording rap music. The beginning of hip hop or the beginning of rap goes years before this, into the 20s.
Yeah, okay, but none of the stuff that's in the 20s can relate, can be. So, say for instance, that stuff that you're talking about, like, I'm Lenny, I got plenty, hoes, and fly clothes, the pimp stuff that rap. And if you might find some old footage, I've seen old footage where I was going to and it's like some guy saying something rhythmically to a beat. If you want to call that hip hop, let's say it is. Let's say that it is that, right? That level of rapping, as far as lyrics is concerned, like that, they're pretty basic. No matter where you, as far as you go back in time, the further you go back in time, they stayed pretty much on that hip hop level. The old timers, they were there from all the time, and then Sugar Hill Gang might have started there. But Nas, to compare Nas lyrically to Sugar Hill Gang and any of the people who you're talking about, doesn't even make sense.
No, like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for you to claim what you're doing is that's no different than appropriating or colonization. Y'all just colonized. You can't take something. You can say you made it better. You can say that you put New York flavor with something that was already out there and y'all made it better. And then y'all proliferate. You can say that. But to say that it's the home or it started here, it's not even close to being true.
See, I think if you're focusing on that element of it, if you're going to focus on the rap element of it, you said it's the most important. I think it's the most commercial. So that's the importance of it. Nobody's thinking in their mind, I'm going to go and make $1 million breakdancing, or it's hard to sell breakdancing and it's hard to sell DJing, but it's easier to get a deal, quote unquote, as an MC or as a rapper. So it's the most commercially viable aspect. But when we talk about hip hop, the idea of hip hop of stopping the music on the breakbeat, rapping over that, and then the break dancing and the DJing, cutting and scratching, all of that is hip hop. So that thing right there, those, like you said, 5 elements did not exist anywhere together before it was created, before New York.
Okay, but here's the issue though. Then don't make hip hop synonymous with rap. That's what y'all doing to people. So y'all say Southern people do mumble rap. But then you'll say like, but we do hip hop. So Southern people rapping, they producing, they they singing over break beats, they dancing, they doing graffiti. But y'all will be like, that's mumble rap. So that's what I'm saying. You
No,
can't have it both ways.
I know what the criticism of the Southern. I wouldn't even say, I don't know where mumble rap comes from, but the criticism of mumble rap is that now that we are at the stage of rapping, that aspect of it, I don't know if DJing is developing, or I'm sure it is, but breakdancing, is it developing? I'm sure it is, but as far as the lyric part aspect, the rhyming part, we've come a long way from hip hop to hip it to hip it to hip hop to hip it to hop.
Mm-hmm.
So because that New York, for and I'm sure other places have left that. Now we have people saying they're rappers, but they don't even rap. They say they mumbling. Like, what are the words you're saying? What is the context of the lyrics? So we're just going to isolate that aspect of the hip hop, which is the lyrics and rapping, and we're saying, okay, what are you doing with that? You're saying I'm a rapper, but then you saying, well, let me hear these lyrics, and nobody could make out the words you're saying. Or when you do say something, you saying some bullshit. My coochie pink, my booty hole brown. Like, what are you niggas talking about?
Now, Southern people can make out what quote unquote mumble rappers are saying. We know exactly what they're saying, and we feel what they're saying. And when we're not on a Zoom talking to New Yorkers, that's how we talk. So, and as kids, it's Southern form of Ebonics. That's what it is. And so they do it over music, and it's just as valid, because if one of the elements of hip hop is storytelling from your aspect in the streets and what you know, then that's more valid than anything that to me, what they're rapping about and what they're saying is more valid than almost everything that's coming out of New York, because the stories that come out of New York are just regurgitated mafia stories, or just regurgitated stories of Supreme, or some other gangster, New York Freddie Myers, So it's just those regurgitated stories over and over and over. And if that can be hip hop, if that can be true authentic rap, then to disrespect mumble rap when they're basically telling the Southern narrative in the Southern dialect, it don't matter if you feel like they sound country and bound. That's not the point. That's the language of the people in South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Louisiana, North Florida. That's how they talk. That's the words they use. That's the language when they talk regular. They don't sound like they're from New York. They don't sound like they're from Jersey. They don't sound northern. They sound southern, with the different twang from whatever area they from. But it's all Ebonics, and we understand it very well. Like, we don't have an issue understanding what they're rapping about.
To be honest with you, I don't agree with everything that you're saying, but I could see why you're saying certain things. But I want to say, like, like, I remember, I'm not as old as both you brothers is, but I remember when the music was more, like, intellectual. And I think that, when you talk about music from the South, I want to say, you would probably say that they were into more of like a party kind of atmosphere. But I want to say it's like they really don't really have nothing else to talk about. So this is what it is. It's just like a party, something like that. And I think that, the New York MCs and maybe Southern MCs, they are intellectualized. They got all of these words, they use all of these different kind of, and for some people down there, for people that's very simple, that have a simple lifestyle, that's too much. I used to be a salesman, and the people when I was in the South, if I talk too fast, they wouldn't trust me. So it's something about being in the South that I don't even like people that talk too fast. You see what I'm saying? Like when I try to sell somebody something, if I talk too fast, they be like, "Hold on, sir, you talking too fast. You gotta slow it down." Like they want to hear everything that you're saying. They want to know what you talk about. They want to be relatable. So I want to say, there's one aspect of the party, and everybody's gonna have fun and they want to dance, and I get that aspect. But you can't just escape that the city was giving you more than intellectual stories of some mobsters and all that. I don't know what NCs you listen to. Now you talk about real mobsters, none of that. None of this stuff to me, they talk anything that's very interesting when it comes to that. But they were intellects. They had a way of communication that everybody couldn't talk like.
Yeah, but that to me is a cop out from up north, but it's the we learn how to talk from southern white folks, and y'all learn how to talk from northern white folks. So there's a difference in the speech pattern, and it's that speech pattern that's the up north bias. That it's not intellectual. The smartest people I know are mumble mouth country folks. They can look at you and tell you something wrong with you. They can look up to the sky and tell you it's about to rain, or these people are highly intelligent. What they're not is they're not read. So what we view it's no different than if you go to Iceland, or not Iceland, but if you go up to where Inuit people live, and you tell somebody that it's cold outside, to us that means something, because our experience with cold is maybe 1 or 2 levels of cold, but their experience with cold is a matter of life and death. So they have 100, 200 different expressions for cold because it's a matter of life and death to them. So they'll talk to you and be like, "Oh, Brooklyn people, they're not intellectual because they don't know how to describe cold in the same way." Or if you go to Saudi Arabia in the desert somewhere, they got a whole bunch of different terms for hot heat. So if I take your stance, they're going to tell you that you're not intellectual and that you just have this laissez-faire type language, word usage. But you have to understand, for us, what we live around, what we see is different. And so what's popular to rap about right now is very much proliferated in a city like New York or up north, where there's really no trees, there's bricks and clubs and restaurants and a bunch of noise and stuff all the time. So that's what gets proliferated in music. Big city, the Big Apple, club, pocket bottles. You got billionaires there. You got mansions. Just high rise and all that type of stuff. So it's easy for you to talk about things that you see every day. It's not popular to talk about seeing taking a boat through the bayou and you seeing or a mud bar. So like you can talk about a Maybach, but I know friends that got mud trucks that are mud bar that they spend the same amount that Jay-Z spend on the Maybach, but to have you rap about that isn't going to impress you because you don't understand that this is $100,000 truck and I put $400,000 into it to get it to do what it does, or a monster truck. A monster truck costs $800,000, $1,000,000. I got friends that got monster trucks down in Mississippi right now. We go ride them in the woods, and they out there the same way that everyone was impressed when Jay-Z and Kanye cut up that Maybach just for a video. I'm sitting here telling you, like, they out running over trees and stuff in $800,000-$900,000 trucks having a good time. But that's not something that's popular to rap about. So
it's not something popular that people do in the city either. Who in the city is riding a monster truck if we ain't on some kind of car show or something like that? It's like unrealistic and caught into the environment.
That's my point. Is that you say it's not intellectual, but if I was to sit here and write a rap about what it takes to go into a monster truck, how to afford it, how to do that.
I mean, let's be clear, man. Because like you saying that, I'm about to tell you. So you talk about not intellectual. What's intellectual? Ski, goddamn. Nothing about that very, very intelligent, bro. Like we gotta just keep it real. Some of that shit is just cool for a part. That shit's silly. But you know that's not like. Come on, who's really smart saying that? And this guy went to college. Now. Oh my God, they got it. What is that? Animal? Like, come on, stop playing, man. Like I'm not mad at those, y'all. None of them, they twin with the song. But where y'all at now? Time that was supposed to get outshine that shine, bro. The time is up.
But it's not up.
This shit got real crazy.
Right, but it's not up. It's not up, and New York rappers been saying the same stuff since they booed Outkast off stage. Back in 90 something. Y'all been saying the same stuff since y'all booed Outkast out. You can say what you want to, but people still supporting mumble rappers. They still supporting what we put out. They not buying New York rappers. It's 2 New York rappers selling. That's it. Because part of it is the absolute arrogance of trying to make people fit into a New York box or a New York frame of reference, and most Americans don't live. Y'all had all the record labels were in LA and they were in New York. The first people to put money in hip hop were in New York. So that means that y'all had a head start, and that's what was proliferated. People were willing to put money, and they could go down the street and see whoever the latest rapper was. That's all it was. So y'all got a head start, and y'all got to write the narrative. But most Americans don't feel that way. That's why LA got their thing. That's why Houston got their thing. That's why New Orleans got their thing. That's why LA got their thing. And all of them sell more albums than New Yorkers. You take Jay-Z out, Nas don't even sell albums like that. You take Jay-Z out the equation, and then you take 50 Cent that had his run with his first, maybe second album. You take them out. Who in New York is selling albums? Who in New York can travel to Houston and sell out a show? Nobody. And it's because as a Southerner on the outside when it comes to rapping and hip hop, I understand how it feels. So when I go to LA, I'm not going to LA area. I'm like, oh, what's up? What's up? Oh, this what y'all do? Oh, y'all into hype, y'all into this and that. Okay, cool. When the New Yorker go, it's like, man, this whack shit. They ain't talking about nothing. They ain't intellectual. And it's like, but it's just your word. It's the words that you choose to put together. It's not more intellectual. You just using. It don't make sense. Half the rap don't make sense. Y'all just going through a syllabus and just coming up with some stuff now. What I do appreciate about New York rappers, not immediately, but after the fact, is I do appreciate how much time y'all spend in metaphors. But I don't want to listen to that every day. I don't want to have to think about something and listen to a song 4 times before I figure out, oh, that metaphor is making reference to this. That might be cool to New Yorkers, but the rest of the world is telling you it ain't cool. That's why we don't buy y'all music. That's why we don't support it. I don't care who it is. We don't support the music. And it's because of that reason.
Well, I can probably say that I can appreciate that that reference or that narrative, because again, once you call it a head start, but when you make something, you do have a head start because you created it. So when you have a head start, and for a moment, no, you created it. When you created it in the Bronx, and you put in that music that you created in the Bronx, and Sugar Hill Gang was like the first official hip hop record. So you do have a history, maybe 10, 15 year head start. So whereas people in these other places in LA and Atlanta and Houston, the first time they heard hip hop was from New York. It wasn't something that they had themselves. It was like, we are doing this. The first time they heard hip hop, no matter who it was, they heard something from New York. It said that this is hip hop music. Yeah, and so it took them some time. First you copy, you try to do it. Oh, I'm gonna try to be like LL. I'm gonna try to be like EPMD. I'm gonna try to be like whatever. And then you figure out your own lane. You know, so the gangster dudes in LA, they start gangster rapping. The people in Florida, They have the strip clubs and stuff. So Luke talking about don't stop, get it. That was a reflection of his reality. The people in the South, you know, it's funny the South thing because everybody loves Andre 3000. It's like he's not a mumble rapper, and his wordplay.
But he got booed off stage. The first time they performed in New York. Why?
He did.
He was kicking the same lick. Hey.
He did.
New York is a rough place. Can't judge us for that. You know, this is a very crowded place. People got a bad attitude. This is natural. You're gonna get booed off. They're gonna throw stuff at you. You better know that.
I mean, they had the Apollo Theater. The Apollo Theater. There's a lot of people that are famous that eventually became famous that might have got booed the first 4 or 5 times they stepped on the Apollo stage.
He didn't get booed because he was bad. He got booed. They got booed the time they came from Atlanta. That's what I'm saying. It's hate.
Tyler McQuarrie from New York, he got booed up the stage too.
Tyler Kweli needs to be booed sometimes. Tyler Kweli needs to be booed sometimes. He ain't Andre 3000. He ain't out there. The thing that I'm saying is, it's an automatic hate. It's an automatic hate.
I mean, I can't lie. I remember playing Southern Playalistic in my car, and niggas was not messing with it. You know what I'm saying? I got it.
I was a teenager. Hold on. I was a big fan of Outkast when they first came out. I liked them. I liked their spirit, and I was jacking them. So don't say that everybody's over here.
Yeah, everybody's not like that.
I actually knew what it was, and I was in like going to high school. I was like 14 or something. I was with it. They was nice to me. I liked them. I was jacking.
Yeah.
That's fact. But I was a true MC as a baby. I like that.
Yeah, I can't see your face right now, but we looking eye to eye right now. Now you
I'm not
here.
trying to play them, bro. I'm trying to tell you, I was fucking with them before he even switched up. And
Just me, you gonna sit here and tell because you was fucking with him, you gonna sit here and tell me that they got booed when they went to New York because they did a bad show, or they got booed because they were from the South and they was rap. Say we looking eye to eye, man and the thing, eye to eye. Why did they get booed?
I don't know, bro.
I can tell you. I can tell you why. I can tell you why.
I just told you, New York is a rough crowd, bro. This is not the place. If we ain't jacking you today, you gonna get hit with tomatoes or something. It's like that here. So it's not. It could have not been personal, bro. They jacking today. Get that shit out of here. That shit trash. Like they would. That's New York for you, bro. It's like that. Cut this shit up. Like you better have a better show. I mean, eventually they got mad love. You know what I'm saying? When they came with the Baby Mother song and all that, they smoked. I was fucking with them before the Elevator song, all that. But I'm an MC, so you don't have to be from New York to say I can rap. That's not the type of MC I am, bro. So my favorite MC is not from New York. There's a dude named Holocaust. He's from California. That nigga's super duper nice. I didn't say, oh, he trash. He's from California. That motherfucker can rhyme crazy. Damn near better than me. There's no point in me sitting here acting like because if a person's not from New York, they can't rap. I went to high school in California and had a whole fleet of MCs with me and battled everybody at my whole school. I was with it. I was a full hip hop baby, bro. You could ask me. I was murdering MCs in the studio.
But he's talking about the general disposition, and I can say the general disposition, especially around Outkast.
Niggas from another place.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
So, like, here's the thing that New Yorkers haven't realized. Here's the thing that most New York rappers haven't realized that, and it's only because New York hip hop is so amplified. A lot of people in a small area, they have small understanding, and so you have this crowd or this insular group that you feel like your voice is being heard the way it amplifies it. It makes it bigger than what it is. Most people don't like New York rappers or New York rap. We don't even like how y'all sound when y'all talk. It's just, but because it's popular, because it's New York City, because it's the #1 city in the United States, everything is amplified.
It's a kind of love-hate relationship.
Yeah, because the girls like how niggas talk.
Yeah, I'm about to say
your country ass, you don't like the way niggas talk. The country girls like how niggas talk.
was lit. Maybe not nowadays, because it could be different. Things change over time.
Bro, but half
But
the
yeah, when I
population.
was younger, I was straight. The whole
But
time was
yeah,
me.
so
I don't know what you
so we talking historically. We talking historically. And the thing that I'm saying, and we're talking about hip hop, and half the population is niggas. Half the population is bitches. I'm quite sure you did well with females the same way as Southern dudes go up north and do well in New York. I can go to New York right now and pull a chick out with such out. Just like that, no problem. So
What's up, Shouty?
you just different. You just different. But the thing that I'm telling you though is in general, like you said, when you came down south and you talk how you talk, what you say? Oh no, hold on, back up. You talking too fast. Because the thing
right.
that you have to respect when you come down south is people that fast talk, they scam. It's not normal and natural for somebody to talk fast. So that this is what I'm talking about. I'm trying to make you understand context now. So when you say it's not intellectual, contextually speaking, you may think that, but for you to say that comes off disrespectful. And so what that does for me is be like, oh, this cat ain't something. Fuck all New York rappers. You see what I'm saying? Because you ain't even acknowledging my humanity, my language, my understanding, and what you think might be something simple. Because you don't understand my language, you don't understand that I just described something very intellectual. Because you speak a different language, you got a different understanding. But the issue is in the South when it gets I guess heated, we don't talk. In the North when it gets heated, y'all gonna sanctify and all that stuff before y'all pull that gun out. You know, it's all kind of other stuff. It's a whole bunch of words. And so I'm saying if we don't understand that when we're talking about hip hop, if we don't make those type of connections, then it's always gonna be, well, fuck New York, well, down south rappers ain't talking about nothing. Well, you know, it's always gonna be that way, and it's never gonna be a true appreciation. Like my favorite rapper is Jay-Z, but outside of Jay-Z, I think Nas is great. If I put it into a mathematical formula, it would come up with Nas, but I can't listen to nothing Nas do. I like one Nas song, and it really wasn't Nas, it was AZ. Life's a Bitch. To me, that's the best 16 bars ever written. Was AZ's verse on Life's a Bitch. The second best 15 bars ever written was Chuck D's verse on I Got a Letter from the Government the other day. I opened that. Those two right there, in my opinion, are the two greatest 16 bars ever written. Not Biggie, not Pac, not Jay-Z. Those two are the best 16 bars ever written in the history of rap. That's my opinion. Now, ask me how much New York rap I listen to. Hardly none, because to me, part of hip hop is the production, and I feel like New York is really lagging when it comes to production. Like y'all will rap over any boom bap. Like
I'll be honest with you. I gotta clarify. You know, that same sentiment that you have about the city, some of this I feel is just how you feel naturally. Maybe other people do feel this way, right? But there's also a certain level of hate I feel because being that this is the originator environment, right? Or what you say is the progenitor, right? I don't agree with that. I believe that they come from out here, but what you did say is true. Because this city is so big and there's so many millions of people, you could be living here in your own world. And remember, this people have family in different places, so their movement from here can spread to another place very easily too. You could get somewhere else. Tri-states, we can get to the Midwest easy. We got cousins and people all over the place. But there is some truth to what you're saying about it being like a inside kind of house in here. Like you ain't from over here, get out of here. You don't really much out here. We did give that kind of vibe, but I mean, I'm gonna say for good reason because I believe that by allowing it to be in all these other environments without proper, I want to say, vetting, this thing is totally corrupted and it's actually ruined. And the radio has something to do with it. That's what I wanted to mention. The radio took away the ability for the people from out here to have a voice. And, I don't know who violated who or what kind of contract, but it's a reason why the music stopped from out here. It ain't because the people stopped rapping. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It ain't because people's garbage from out here. It ain't because ain't nobody out here can make a little baby. Nah, bro. It's a reason why they ain't because she's black. this is a actual strategy used by the industry to
So
dumb everybody down. That's
so
my own personal
so
opinion.
Riyadh is he's not a conspiracy theorist. So he doesn't necessarily believe in uh, the system and its ulterior motives. So I don't want to speak for you, but I also believe that. I also believe that the industry, which is the music industry, which is the entertainment industry, is using rap music and has taken control of rap music. So when rap music was trying to be, like you said, Public Enemy, they took the industry from behind Public Enemy and gave it to NWA, not because of uh, 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 um, record sales or some kind of slump, but because their intention was to get the light off of self-destruction, fight the power, these type of ideas to the point that it is today. They used hip hop to destroy black
The
people
youth.
and black culture to the point where
That's a
now
fact.
it's in the South. It went from New York where you might have, like he might say some intellectual or some thought provoking lyrics, and you took it to the West Coast when gangster rap proliferated. Then you took it to Florida with strip club rap. Then you took it to the South where people are talking about you know sipping scissor or and to whatever they talking about now.
100 million pills. Or
And so I do we I there is a music industry, and I think that the industry. See, Riyadh, and I don't want to again speak for you. I know you think that economists, as an economics person, you're going to say something about like they went where the money went. The money is going to respond, and the industry is going to respond to the economics solely as a driver, as opposed to there being some kind of nefarious, a diabolical plan to use the music to basically denigrate the social fabric, and uh, that's a prevalent idea out here, And you alluded to the event um, where Outkast got booed, and my man Andre 3000 said the South have something to say. But I think what the moment that was more instrumental than that was when Redman and Method Man, I forgot what kind of award they got. I think it was like a Grammy or something, where they came out. They came out. They put their back towards the crowd and basically told the industry to kiss their ass. And then the next people that walked out was 3-6 Mafia.
3-6 Mafia.
And they told they said don't bite the hand that feeds you. And that to me was more instrumental. That was a moment when the industry understood that that's the power dynamic. These dudes from the north got this attitude. They think they can rap. They deserve something.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that happened.
So let me give you conspiracy theories a history lesson.
Here we go.
Because y'all was very specific
Go ahead.
about the bullshit that New York puts out. So here we are. NWA comes out. Niggas with attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Coming straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube from the gang called Niggas with Attitude. Guess what New York was putting out back then?
Fight the
Y'all
power.
made a fucking boy genius. That's who New York was putting out. So y'all want to say conspiracy theories? Y'all was putting out fucking polka dot heroes, and somebody else from somewhere else was putting out some shit that was real, some aggressive, something that was real, that was germane to what was going on, police brutality, all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm saying about New Yorkers, man. Y'all look at stuff I fucked the niggas wasn't this, the niggas wasn't that, you know, and y'all look at it from a very slanted standpoint, but y'all forget that y'all heroes at the time was motherfucking Kwame the Boy Genius, that y'all heroes was Special Ed, that y'all heroes was these whack artists, bump stickety, bump, 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 all that type. That's New York rap. But y'all always want to point to somebody like Rakim, changed the game. Somebody like what's your boy? I can't think of your other boy name. Or just all these rappers that we all realize are they GOAT rappers. They top 50 rappers. Most top 50
So
rappers.
besides Andre 3 Stacks, who is not gonna make you lose brain cells from that? Like, I know who else. Scarface. Who else? Who else y'all got as not? I'm not gonna lose brain cell tonight. Listen to
You mean back then or now? It's the difference. Cause
I'm kind of making a joke because they did
Alright,
have
but
some
I'm
more.
saying,
Like,
but-
you know what I like? I like the Goody Mob. Like I can't hate because I'm a real MC. I just listen to what people say. You can sound funny when you come from. I'ma listen. Them Goody Mob get busy. Boy, I'm trying to tell you, I fuck with niggas from the South. I fuck with certain people from out there. They like I'm saying, hey, buddy, back. Goody Mob get
Right, but
busy,
you give
and
too
they
much
have a
credit to
message,
New Yorkers.
and they intellectual.
But
Ain't
you're
that
giving
so?
too much credit, but you're giving too much credit to New Yorkers because y'all have some of the GOATs from New York. You forgetting about the Kwame the Boy Geniuses of the world.
You know what?
And I could go
I
on and
never
on
was a
and on.
fan of
But you know what? You know what? You might have a point. You might have a point, cause I do remember there was a moment where New York went into house music, like hip hop.
Niggas were playing.
Hip
All
hop.
that type of shit.
Hip hop went to sleep for a second, and niggas was doing house
Hip-hop
music
didn't
for a
go to
second.
sleep. Hip-hop didn't go
New
to
York
sleep.
hip hop went
New
to
York
sleep.
started putting out whack
early
shit.
80s.
New York hip hop went to sleep, and niggas really was into house music. Niggas went on a hip hop music hiatus for a minute. Out here anyway.
New York
I
niggas,
remember
they-
that.
everywhere
Definitely.
else,
Puerto
did.
Ricans was listening to that crap all the time.
Niggas
I
was listening to
remember
house music. I was into house music when I was in college. When I was in college, house music was the music. You know who was like Jump Around? That was jump up to get down. That was like a big song. Or Engine number 9, going like Black. Who's that? Black Sheep.
That's Black Sheep.
Yeah, I mean there was a moment there with Kwame where there was some weak shit coming out. You know what I'm saying? And really niggas was really more focused on house music actually.
but now we're talking 5-10 years into the hip hop scene, and other people are like, "Oh, we don't have to act like New Yorkers. We can just be ourselves." And so, what happens when you be yourself? People authentically like it, and it sells everywhere except where New York. A Southern rapper can go anywhere right now and do they mumble rap with the tight ass beat. The reason why, and this is what I'm trying to say. New York forgot where their bases came from. The bases came from taking dope ass break beats, slowing that shit down, repeating it, and rhyming over it. And then what did New York do? Turn around and got into boom bap and all kind of other whack weird noises and shit. And everyone else stayed with what makes people move. Deep, heavy bass lines, heavy bass, 808s, not no 707s, and all that other whack 8 real bullshit that New York rappers are still on to this day. Heavy bass lines, melodic melodies, and deep bass beats, 808s, 909s. That's what sells. That's what people want to listen to, and everywhere else do it. You go to New York, I mean LA, they got their version of a Mustard on the Beat, or your boy out there, I forgot his name, Blood out there that does all the rapping, the deep bass lines and stuff. You hear New York rap, what is it? Well, it's like, man, what are you doing? Why rhyme so good and put some music and put your lyrics over? You don't complete the cycle. All you doing is just mentally masturbating, making yourself feel good. You just jerking off to yourself, putting those dope lyrics over whack beats. And so people get tired of hearing whack beats. Don't nobody want to hear KIS1 because he's still rapping to the same shit, the same music that he was rapping to in 1982. And then when it comes to the conspiracy theory stuff, they put out whatever KIS1 and all the people put out. It didn't sell no fucking album. So y'all want people to front money. You sign a deal. You take upfront money, and then it's a formula in place for the person that spent their money to recoup their money, and now you want to be like, now fuck y'all, I'm turning my back, y'all. Then why you take the advance? If you gonna turn your back, pay that fucking advance back before you go on stage. That's what I'm saying. So it's more to it than just this pro-black Redman and them was just some real G's. Did they pay the fucking advance back? No, they didn't pay the advance back. They still owe money. They had, matter of fact, after they did that, they had to do 2 more albums to complete their contract. They didn't turn no fucking advance money back in. And I like Redman. I like Red, and I do like Redman. But I'm just saying, that's my point. The way that New Yorkers look at stuff is from a very arrogant, we can't do no wrong standpoint. And the rest of the world, we ain't in New York. So we on the outside looking in like, God damn, did you pay that advance back, Redman, before you did that? Nah, you didn't pay it back. So why you talking shit then? If you really gonna be a G, get that money back, then turn your back. That's a Southern thing. We on some fuck y'all for real. Like we on some nigga, I put it in my trunk and sell 100,000 albums to make more money than you selling 10 million. That's what we on. And New Yorkers is on, oh, let me get that advance money. Nigga, we real hip hop. Oh, no, you not. No, you not, because we really about putting it in our trunk, pressing up our own album, and selling regionally and making more money. That's what we do. You ain't gotta like me in New York, because I can sell 100,000 albums in Atlanta and be a millionaire. So we on true hip hop. Y'all on commercial hip hop. And y'all mad that y'all not commercially successful no more. And you're not commercially successful because just like hip hop elevated and proliferated and it went to one entendre, double entendre, triple entendre, so did music. Music changed too, but not New York niggas' music didn't change. Musically, the production is still the same whack shit. I can take your shit and give it to Eric B. and Rakim, and it sounds like something made in 1988. We beyond that.
Just B, you ain't got nothing to say?
I would say this, like he said about conspiracy theories. He talked about commercial success. I was listening to hip hop in the era before they gave him any money. And when you give a man money that's not even having money, you might see him turn to something. And he has a point that I agree with. That I want to say the people that, let's say the progenitors that he's describing, right? These MCs, there's a whole bunch of them. I don't even name their names, right? There's a lot of them. For him, what I agree with is there's no growth in the sound. Like, if I've been listening to a certain kind of music when I was 14 years old, 15 years old, more deep, whatever, there's no way that 30 years later, people should be rapping the same way or talk about the same thing. So I agree with that. Like as a writer, I would feel, or I would recognize that I'm not going to be able to be inspired by it. So you're going to have to find some MCs outside of that particular matrix. So I agree from that standpoint. And like I said, this was designed a certain kind of way, But I also feel like some of the progenitors just got money and just became lazy. You know what I'm saying? Like they not doing this no more. Or like, I'll give you an example. Some of these MCs said when Biggie died, they lost their momentum and their motivation because he was a challenge for them. Like they was rapping against each other like a battle. Oh, Big died, he was the best one, so he made me want to rap. And I ain't gonna front, Big was a threat like that. He definitely was making niggas want to rap. Niggas want to out rap, and niggas don't want to hear that shit no more. So it was a very competitive environment. And he might not understand that because I remember being out south and there was only that one star to show in every town. Like, so it's easy for you not to be hated on. It's only one. You follow what I'm saying? It's not like that out here. It's 100 stars in every block type shit. Like you gotta fight harder to get shine out here. You gotta be extra nicer. You can't just be regular nice. You gotta be super duper fucking nice to stand out in a place that's very tight. Everybody boxing, everybody Tyson out here. Let's go. So you gotta be knocking people's heads off crazy. And you said you didn't like battling, but that is part of the elements of hip hop. And you know, Bismarck, he was battling through all the projects in New York with guys from all that. This is what this thing is. So you can't really take that away from what this shit made, because coming off the top of your head as an MC is part of being an MC. You can't do that. You're not ready to fully MC. You gotta read out
Right,
the books and all that kind of shit. You know, I don't know. You gotta cut that shit
okay,
out.
yeah, I do. I agree with you that coming off the dome, freestyling is a part of hip hop. But I'm just telling you, in the South, we don't stand eye to eye, face to face with somebody, and then talk mad shit about it. That just ain't what we do. We ain't built
So,
that.
how is y'all playing the dozens? Because I don't act like they don't play the dozens down south. But this is where this shit comes
That's
from.
different. That's different.
Come on.
Battle
How is
rap-
that different? They dissing each
battle
other
rap
and it's
is
in a rhyme form. They do the dozens
Because-
both rhyming, but they
because-
dissing each other.
Because there's an element of if you doing the dozens with somebody you don't know, you could get hit in the mouth. You do the dozens with your friends. You do the dozens with people you have a relationship with. But when you watch battle rap and you see two grown men face to face getting all aggressive and saying the foulest shit about their family, their mom, they girl, all this stuff, like I'm telling you, man, that's the wackest, weakest shit that I've ever seen in my life. It's so
The battles
it's
I
so-
was referring to beyond that was like battling with records, but I understand where you're coming from. Some of that is definitely extra, and that's unmasculine. I totally agree. You know,
Very
talking
much
too
so
much
now.
is feminine. So you know, just talking a whole bunch, that's girl shit. So hip hop in itself is on a level of femininity if there's no action being taken. Now I'm gonna be clear. This is just direct clear. If there's not an action taken, all that talking is girl shit. Period.
We agree. We agree. New York now here's the other thing, Jeff. If we could get all the samples cleared, I could make your album. You would sell 1 million albums. A hip hop artist ain't sold 1 million albums. I don't know how long. Because I make some good southern musical bass driven beats. Get
But
you
my
up there.
ears is not trapped. If you listen to anything that I make, I jump all over it. But I'm cool with it, like because in order for me to continue to have been an MC, I had to not hate on the trap and the mumble shit. I had to adapt to it and actually be able to do it too. And at first I was hating on like fuck, this shit trash. Then I realized I said this is the youth, man. You can't be like shit is trash. I said they doing what you was doing if you was that age. And I was able to tap in from not being hateful, but I had to tap in and listen to it. I remember listening to Future. What song was that? I forget the song. At first I couldn't understand nothing he was saying. And then I kept listening to it. I was like, oh, son is saying this. Oh, that's hard. Yo, oh, son is nice. Future get busy. He's right. But what I'm saying is I had to inoculate myself into it. But it wasn't because I didn't like it, just I didn't initially understand what was being said. I didn't get the lingo at first. But I got it eventually. Yeah.
So to get away from, the conspiracy theory, that I kind of articulated a bit earlier, perhaps the case might be that, to a New Yorker, somebody in the Connecticut is country, and that's just right up. That's 3 hours away. So the fact of the matter is that there are more black people in quote unquote southern or country places than there are in New York. New York is one place. So you're going to go to California, you're going to go to Connecticut. Sometimes even people from New Jersey might come off. Like, even like the guys from Griselda, upstate New York, we looking at them like, y'all niggas ain't from New York. You know what I'm saying? So New York is like one place. If everybody else, if everybody else, quote unquote, is country because they ain't not in New York, then that vibe or that sentiment is going to have more customers. Somebody that's if the party vibe or mumbling or talking with a more of a southern accent or a country accent is that there's more black people in that reality than there are New York people, black people run around in libraries and stuff. If that's the thing.
Now, and I don't mean to cut you off, but now you're understanding what I'm saying about that's why New York is on selling nothing, because there's more black people that are in hip hop. Don't matter if we wasn't in the Bronx. We're hip hop culture too. But it's more of us outside of New York than it is inside of New York. The difference is it's a bunch of New Yorkers in New York telling each other the same thing. But the rest of the world is rejecting it. Like now, we don't want it. We don't want it no more. It was cool when y'all had no competition. But now that y'all got competition, we don't want it. This appeals to us. And the thing is Atlanta figured out a formula that appeals broadly to everyone. The formula, the music, the production, the sound, the sounds they use, and the style appeals broadly to everyone. So eventually, it may not, and Atlanta will have to change. But if you notice, Atlanta changes up. You went from T.I. to Lil Baby in 20 years. The difference is New York didn't. You went from Eric B. and Rakim to the next Eric B. and Rakim, and it's been 40 years now. Still, as much as New York think that they changed, they haven't changed. Because y'all are listening to it from New York ears. Everyone else is listening to it on the outside, so we're able to observe and be like, oh, same shit. That's the same shit. Now, who was the last New Yorker to have a blow-up hit out the blue that was just somebody new? Just blew up out the blue like, oh, that shit dope. And why did it happen? And that was Designer. And Designer got hated
Pop
on
Smoke.
Who?
Pop Smoke.
Yeah, but Pop Smoke. Okay, I'm glad you said Pop Smoke. Who did Pop Smoke production? His stuff just sounds
Somebody
like
from Europe or something like that. Yeah, I think he had from like Europe. It wasn't
Pop
nobody
Smoke
from
sound
Europe.
more LA, more 50 Cent than he didn't sound New York. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I wanted to say that New York had lost its identity. We had a signature sound. So when you got somebody like Designer that sound like he don't sound like he's from New York. Like New Yorkers is very arrogant and proud to have their own direct sound. That's what I'm trying to say. They lost their complete identity. Like if I asked you what's the signature sound of New York rap, what you gonna say, Young and May? Bro, New York doesn't have a sound right now. So how do you do that to a people if this is not a conspiracy? This is not because people don't rhyme out here no more, bro. This is deeper than that. There's no way that you can do that shit. It's like almost taking somebody's language away.
How could that happen? That's where it stops. But it stops the rhyme. That's what I'm trying to say. The sound doesn't fit. The sound didn't change. The rhymes changed. The rhymes advanced, but the sound did not. So you don't sound, so something you rapping on don't sound no different than something KRS-One is rapping on. We don't want KRS-One no more. He's a grandfather in the game. He's an advisor, but don't nobody want to listen to his music no more. We want to listen to the old shit at a party, at a get together. We want to hear a couple of his old songs. We don't want Just Beat to sound like. I don't want my cut to go from Eric B to KRS-One to Just Beat, and musically it all sounds the same. That's the difference. Everyone else evolved, New York doesn't. Only the rap, only the lyrics, the wordplay, which is excellent. No one has better wordplay than New York. We admit that. Maybe Dre is an exception.
I was about to say, I think what you're kind of describing is, I think the best example of what you're describing of is Drake. Because Drake is not from down south or from New York. He's from Canada. But he seems to rap on everybody's style. Like, if the music is a certain type of music that's hot right now, he gonna get on it. You know what I'm saying? He'll get on some joint with Future. He'll get on a joint with Migos. He'll get a joint with 21 Savage. He'll get on the joint with people from different countries. Like, and sort of finesse their style almost. Like, he doesn't even sort of have a style. He just goes to the popular style and does a joint. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he stay hot all the time, because he's basically current all the time.
New York rappers are the living version of keeping it real went wrong. That's what New York, and it's because everyone else talks like, yeah, he can rap, but I don't want to hear that shit. That's what the rest of the world said. And so trying to have that conversation with New York rappers is like pulling teeth, because they so into the lyrics. And then one or two of them, like somebody like Logic or something. I don't know if it's New New York, but he sounds like he's from New York to me. But he'll get a little following.
He's definitely not from New York.
Okay, well, he'll get a following. I'm just saying, but like New Yorkers, they'll get a following, and so they're in their own echo chamber of grievance. And then all of them sit back saying, "Well, why is he selling out?" And it's like, man, because you say things I'm saying over and over and over, because you sound like you did in 1988. That's why music, the production, sounds like 1988, and we in 2023.
So
You know,
so
but
the hot
that's why Prince Montana sell albums.
the hot guy that just dropped right now is this nigga Little Uzi Vert. He's from Philadelphia, but I don't think his sound or his music is Philadelphia.
Now they Philadelphia. Meek is Philly.
Right.
Meek is one of the people that kept a Philly sound that people still support, but Meek ain't making more money than Lil Uzi Vert.
Right.
And that's all I'm saying, which means that if you're not making the money, you're not getting the tours, you're not getting the marketing, you're not getting on videos, you're not getting on social media as much, you're not as popular. And so that's what it all boils down to. And it just change up, man. If New Yorkers would stop fucking with New York beat makers and fuck with other people, they could sell albums, they could gain popularity. They just gotta stop fucking with that whole boom bap shit needs to stick with KRS-One, man. Just leave that shit with KRS-One and move into 2023. Hell, Drake did a whole album of like Afro type beats, man.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I think as the world is now getting flat, even Black American musical dominance, I think, is going to become more challenged because right now the Afro beats, and there's some type of Afrobeat called Amo Piano that's coming up, and I think that Black people's sort of whether you're from the South, or West Coast, Florida, down South, I mean, those are the major hubs of Black people. Chicago, we've all had our time, and I think it's right now, the way it's looking, we might all be left in the dust because it seems like they're going to Africa right now. You know what I mean?
I mean, what people don't want to have to listen to music that they got to think deeply about, man. People want to vibe. People want to just sit back, relax, vibe, or get into a mood. Sometimes that mood might be to hear something serious over some lyrics and think about what they saying and dissect it, realize that it was a triple entendre, 2 verses later, and all that kind of stuff. Like, occasionally somebody may want to be in that vibe. People don't want a whole album of that shit, man. People want to be able to turn on the album and just vibe out without necessarily thinking about it, but understanding everything that's going on.
So picture this, right? So if I was a MC from New York, I'm making music. And I'm making music in the South. For people that live in the South, I don't really make a lot of club and dance music. But guess what kind of music I'll make people down there? Because I know they drive a lot. I'll make music you to cruise down a highway to that sounds so good in your car and give you that right kind of vibe when you drive it. And you got to be able to meet people in the right type of mood. And they would accept that.
There you go.
Exactly. See, I understand that. That's part of the market.
People want vibing music more than they want just dancing. People want music they can put on when they clean up. People want music they can put on when they sit in the book chilling. That's what people want. That's why Afrobeat is doing so good, because it's a chill vibe. People don't want to be hollered at and have to think deep all the time. Now, you want some of that on there to let people know you a dope MC. But when you're talking about selling out, gaining popularity, and making money, people want to vibe. And so New York got how to make a vibe. New York got their true roots. Rappers Delight, Houdini. Like, that's all Houdini did was vibe out. Them niggas could flow, and they vibed out. They whole album, man, just one hit after hit after fucking hit, man. Houdini is one of the dopest rap groups ever. vibe is what sells. So you can put Houdini on anywhere. A grandmama's house.
New York forgot its whole self, not just the vibe itself. New York doesn't have an identity. When and I blame this on the progenitors because when they stopped rapping, they kind of stopped keeping it flowing and they didn't support the up and coming new artists. Keep the sound of the city going, and then the radio just shut us down and started playing other shit. So all of that is in a combination. You know what I'm saying? New York don't got no right sound right now. Ain't no sound for New York.
But I'm telling you, from a southerner looking at New Yorkers, we looking at y'all like, nah, y'all was spoiled. Because y'all came out the game and it did. And then all of a sudden, when y'all had competition, y'all sat back and started whining and crying. We was popping the trunk. Remember that. Ludacris sold 1 million albums out his trunk. He was a millionaire before he signed the deal. No Limit, they were millionaires before they signed the deal. Outkast was selling albums. I remember when they was at the flea market. They was hustling, making money before they got the deal. New Yorkers came in the game. Okay, y'all was in the parks. Y'all was under street lamps. All of a sudden, hip-hop hits, rappers, the light come out. Everybody wants it, and y'all was getting deals. Y'all was getting production deals. Y'all was getting writer deals. People was getting money, $50,000 checks, $100,000 checks, $1 million advance, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, y'all got competition. We playing something else. What did New Yorkers do? Hold their arms up and take their basketball. Nah, hit these streets hustle. Make people like it. I ain't never seen a New York rapper drive down south, pop their trunk, start handing out CDs. Never. Nowhere. I'm all over the South. I've never heard of a New York rapper popping their trunk. Now, what New Yorkers did was a whole lot of stunting, got in advance, spent their money, and they made tricked out a big ass truck, and they out here popping bottles and shit, but they ain't making no money. They not selling no albums. So we grimy with our grind. And that's the difference. New Yorkers ain't grimy with their grind. And now it's too late because you don't have the days of being able to pop a trunk, pull up on people waiting on music. It's all instant now. So now New Yorkers got to do something else, and that's change the sound. Like the identity has to be that a New York rapper is just you can take any New York rapper on any corner and they gonna be able to go over the beat. That should be the identity of New York. Per capita.
When we were young, right? You know, one of the biggest egregious things you could do is to sound like somebody else, or to take somebody else's style. Once this became commercialized, the style that was making money has to be mimicked so we could see that we could do the same thing. That kind of ruined what we have going on here. I'm gonna tell you that, because it took away from originality.
I agree with you.
You know,
and so, but the dichotomy is, don't complain and stick to your guns, and you're not gonna be popular. You're really not gonna make that much money. Maybe you'll get a following, or if you're trying to have commercial success, you gotta chase a sound. You gotta give people what they want. So
let's kind of change the conversation, because we are from this community that the African American Black Muslim community, where Just B is a MC, Muslim MC. He's an MC that happens to be Muslim. And I think, Riyadh, you have some extensive experience with this Akbar or Deen rap community. And my experience with it is that there's a lot of trash music in that environment. You know, maybe all of the worst elements of hip hop is represented there. You know, it's not a bunch of grinding. It's not a bunch. I don't know what to say about it, but I never really dug it, and I never really felt that there was maybe from my New Yorkers, my New York what do you want to call that? Yeah, from my, from being stuck up about music, being having this chip on my shoulder. I was never really impressed with this Islamic rap. You know, my man Just B is my favorite Muslim rapper, but he's not. He's nothing like um, the other artists that are currently part of this genre. So, I mean, you were talking. We were talking earlier about how you were able to make some money. Talking about Riyadh and do very well, I guess, from this in this particular genre. You know,
Yeah,
can you tell us about how that works?
yeah. I still be doing it if I'd have somebody like Jeff B. But it was for me. It was hard to work with Muslim artists because first of all they were very whack, and they were trying to uphold this fake piety in their music. Like it was unrealistic what they were trying to do. Like some of them couldn't use beats, some of them couldn't do music, some of them were trying to rap with just vocals and and humming and stuff over it. And then it was very basic, candy type lyrics. It was just bad. There was really no industry out there, and really what it is, it all ties into our total rejection of our own culture because we became Muslim, our parents became Muslim, my well, not me, I'm the first person in my family to be Muslim, but and so they reject everything.
He's that happens to be Muslim. He's not
American culture, and part of that rejection, or a piece of that rejection, was our roots in hip hop, rap, all that type of stuff. So when I started, I had to end up rapping, which I can't rap. That's not something I can write, but I can't rap. But trying to work with Muslim artists was almost impossible because they had a poor work ethic. They had these ideas of an unproven sound, and they were unsure of what they could rap or sing about. And I was constantly fighting these battles to give people the confidence to express themselves, to try to tell people that, for instance, that if you want to talk about sex, there's a way you can talk about sex over an album and still be a nice little Muslim cut. Talk about marriage. You can talk about if you sell drugs in the past or something. Like, you can talk about the same thing, and there are some parameters on it, but everything is open. And so I was constantly battling people that either wouldn't deal with me because of Southern bias or hate. I'm not a part of your community. I'm not in your Muslim group, so we can't be with you. But then when I did deal with Muslim artists, they just didn't have a work ethic to complete music, to consistently put out music, to promote themselves. It was just a constant battle, and so I just started making music myself, which my background is I'm a producer and a writer. So eventually, I had Muslim Heat, and I just started rapping too, or doing my best version of rap, and and I was very successful, and it was mainly because I didn't really have any competition. Like it was my production, damn sure wasn't my rap. It was my production, and it was because there was really very little competition, especially in the lane that I was coming in, which is, a realistic lane, like a real life lane as a Muslim, not some fake bullshit or some fairy tale bullshit that don't exist. So and I did make over the 4 or 5 years that I had Muslim Heat up and running, I made some pretty good money, but I just gave it up because it was too much of a hassle to have to do everything myself. Like I said, if I'd have somebody like Just B, we'd probably be sitting on platinum albums right now across the Muslim world. But Just he in New York and he was hating, so it wasn't nothing I could do, man. So now Just gonna let me produce an album for him, man. That shit gonna be straight
something like that. Like, yeah, this right here. I work for that kind of shit. So like giving shit like that, it's smacks that shit on fire. I walk on this way. I do that.
So so
The good
so
part, uh-huh.
so you saying that we all know how the African American Muslim has this cultural problem, this identity crisis. So uh we talking about the South and New York and California. You know, when we say those things as black people, we kind of understand what we're saying. But then as black Muslims, there's a there's a sort of a disconnect between those realities. Like we can't even just talk about those things as normal Americans, black men could, because we understand those different dynamics. Now it becomes, as a Muslim, you can't talk about you from a West Coast, you can't talk about gang banging because you Muslim. You from Miami, you can't talk about the strip club because you Muslim. You from the South, you can't talk about the trap because you Muslim. So the same things that are available to the rappers in those environments as a resource, you can't talk about those things. So a New York rapper can't just talk about regular New York rap shit, being from the projects, uh, uh, police brutality, or Dear Mama, whatever it is. Even though you actually are living pretty much, it depends, I guess, who it is. If you're a Muslim that gets outside, you might have those very same experiences. You might be as familiar with, the seedy side of black culture as you are with the other side. But I think,
that or your parents were struggling. They was Muslim, but they were struggling. They was in and out. So you grew up in a household that your father or your mother was, they was always Muslim, but they was dibbing and dabbing here and there too. So,
but you also have the thing where you don't want to tell you're supposed to hide your sins. So you might be a reluctancy to, and then of course music itself. There's some people's gonna be like, hey, you listen to the foreigners, everything you do is haram. So they're gonna say rap music is haram, especially when they have all the examples they're gonna go to is people essentially bragging or confessing or articulating their sins. So you're gonna have a challenge there.
right, but there's a way to present music without necessarily identifying yourself or saying that this is what I did, this is what my homie did, this is what my father did. So there's a way to, because I did it all the time. Like I said,
Where's this song at for the little Muslim brothers and sisters that's committing suicide? So it's a song for that. It's a
exactly.
lane for that. Saying there's a place for that. Nobody's saying nothing about that. That's the problem.
Absolutely.
It's worried about the foreigners.
Because
That's the problem.
the general consensus is we should hide our faults, and that's dumb. That's not talking about something in general is different than saying, so and so son committed suicide. That's something different. You know, uh, Talking in generalities lets us address real world issues at a specific time. But as Muslims, we don't really do that. When we allow our imams and leaders to do it, they dog us out. On every public video they get in, they dog the general Muslim public out about what we don't do, what we can't do, what we ain't doing. But then, as artists, if we make a song where we're just in general talking about things that are going on, then stop the law, brother, you should hide the faults of the Muslims and all that. But it's like, man, it's 101 lectures online talking about what Muslims don't do and what we should do and what we ain't doing. But now I put a song out. Now all of a sudden we should be covering faults. And see, I don't go for that bullshit. Which is why, like, I'm popular with the real folks, like the ones that 10 toes down came out the dirt. I'm not popular with the piety and the neck folks. So, but I'm not making music for them either.
See, I think that's a challenge because, when you if you think of music, if you think of it, Muslim music, if you think of it the same way gospel music is, gospel music, Kirk Franklin can play his music in the church. There is a music component that's very prevalent in, so if that's sort of culturally speaking, the African American comes out of the church. So that's the way we understand religion and music to be connected in that church format. And even in some different expressions, Africans and stuff, they sit around and they kind of do their songs. You see on YouTube plenty of times where Muslims in different countries have some, whether it's nasheeds or some kind of musical expression that's connected to religion's devotion. Muslims, African American Muslims, because we're following usually Arab culture that may not have, might have some strict separation between their music and their religion. We've adopted that kind of strict interpretation of musical expression. So people will tell you music is haram. Music is the dawah of the shaitan or something like that. And it's like, it's almost as if people believe that music shouldn't exist, right? And that can't be the case, right? This thing exists for a reason, and it's a part of the human existence for a reason, and it can be used properly. And it just like any tool, it can be used for good or evil. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the Muslim community creates so much weird energy around this, and it takes away, the griot. That this music plays an important part, because we all know about the last poets as part of the legacy of hip hop. These were Muslim brothers. And if you listen to their lyrics, they were very, very prophetic with their lyrics. Stuff they talked about, stuff that they tried to warn people about, the stuff that they highlighted in their music was stuff that people needed. Some of the stuff was very transformative.
They didn't talk about just African American Muslim struggle. They talked about the complete black people struggle.
Right.
And I have a problem with some Muslims feel like I'm just Muslim, I'm not black, and that's a problem to me. And it's a big, big deal, especially when some of the people that I even grew up around, they're more Muslim than black. And when you get around these foreigners, they're gonna treat you like you're a slave. They don't give a freak how much Arabic you know or what school you went to in Medina. It don't matter. You're a slave. You look like the people that slave in my country.
I agree. We put on our Muslim garment and we throw away our culture, who we are, the way we understand and interact with the world, which is why it's so easy to pull the wool over black Muslims' eyes. Because when you throw your culture away, what you're doing is you're rejecting the way that you understand the world, and that's the biggest thing that I think black Muslims don't understand, is that the way that you understand the world is through the language, through the understanding, through the no, don't do that, from your grandparents that were Christian, from your grandfather that was a pastor, from your auntie that didn't become Muslim. So you have this understanding of how you interpret the world. And then,
you can't Christianize Islam and act like it's Jesus Christ and just the Arab is replacement of Jesus. And that's really
right,
what it
that's right. And what Islam is supposed to do is just inform the way that you understand the world. You ain't supposed to strip the way you understand the world, and now all of a sudden you got some Muslim clothes on, and all you're doing is just taking on someone else's culture and the way they understand the world. But because you didn't intimately come up in that with that understanding, it's still, you're on the outside misinterpreting a whole lot. Like you're the one that the joke is played on, but you don't know that there's a joke. You're involved in it, but you don't know you're the punchline. And that's the way you play Muslims.
Absolutely.
That's the way that's how they go through life. So
they're gonna give out a dinner for somebody that's black, as Muslim, but give the proceeds to an Arab. And this is a great example. This is I could go on for days with this comment, right? But this is a good example, right? So we'll have a fundraiser for a black Muslim, but the proceeds go to an Arab.
Yeah, that's the problem. And you know, musically, you can't if you were. Well, first of all, there's nowhere that says music is wrong. First of all, even Newman Khan, not that that's someone that I really listen to and follow, but a lot of people do like Newman Khan. He even finally came out and was like, "Look, I asked everybody, and every scholar that I talked to privately was like, nah, it ain't nowhere where it's evidence that music is wrong. It ain't. We can't say that publicly." And this is what Newman Khan said. There's a video out there. So this is quote Newman Khan. This is what he said. But this is something that I do regardless. And if you strip yourself, bare, then anything that's a reminder of who you were is you feel that it's wrong. And so we hated being second and third class in America so much that we even threw away who we were. So we don't want no parts of that. We accept Islam. We don't want no parts of that. We don't want to dress. We don't want to talk. We don't want to eat the same foods. You come to our Eid, we serving basmati rice and pink milk. To that extent. You know what I'm saying? So it's trying.
No fried chicken.
No
to the
fried
point where what's so funny? Where you got Indians making fried chicken for black people, disrespecting your grandmother in the grave. She's spinning 100 times. And then you got black children that never even really ate fried chicken from their grandmother before ever in their life. This is amazing. Like, so we living in a whole different time, bro. They don't even know what Thanksgiving tastes like. They don't know. My grandmother had apple pie shaking. My grandmother was from down south, Louisiana, country, from a small town called Berwick. You can fire that stove up. That's a fact.
Right.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Whether it's music or whether it's the cuisine or whether it's your family that you should love having a holiday, why you can't show up and eat their Thanksgiving dinner? They have the holiday.
Oh, stop a lot. Stop a lot. Police about to come over and pull you over and give you a ticket to hell. That's a fact.
He said, "Give you a ticket to hell."
Listen, I'm telling all the Muslims this so they can and they mind marginalize me even more. I tell all my family, I tell them, look, y'all celebrate Christmas. We accept gifts. You ain't getting nothing.
Right.
But if celebrating Christmas, you want to buy me a gift or the kids a gift, knock yourself out. We gonna take it. What time is Christmas dinner? We ain't celebrating that bullshit, but we gonna come over, eat, and have a good time with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, this is part of keeping family ties. Like, there's extremes that who is instructed by the Prophet to keep strong family ties. Those are instructions. He didn't say if it's a Christmas dinner. This is all extremities. But, a lot what it has to do with, though, it has to do with you not having a proper identity structure. I told you the biggest problem I have with African American Muslims that's black is them not having a proper identity. Everybody what they sell. They're Arab, they're Indian, they are Hindu. They so many different creatures. Like, and it's not just black Muslims now. The black man goes through. You just look at a black man. He got a baseball cap. He got a Buddha behind him. He got African print behind him. We don't know what you are, sir. What? You want to do it? What? You all of these beings in one. What culture are you? Where do you come from? Like, what did your grandmother really do? What's her name? So, and because of all of this, our misidentity, we completely lose everything once you take this. My name Muhammad now. So now, forget about what black people did. I want to come back to it's just whatever an Arab said happen. And it causes, it's like mind control.
You get so confused, you forget about before you was Muslim how much fun you had sleeping with your cousins at your grandmother's house. Everybody in their PJs and grandma was playing some Christmas music. It's snow outside. Y'all sledding. You taking advantage of
socially
them.
awkward.
They very socially awkward. They not involved in athletics. They got bird chests. They wear high water pants. They fucking weirdos. You know what I'm saying? They fucking weirdos. And then all of a sudden you like, all right, y'all get married. Now you got two generations of weirdos. Now you got weirdos having kids with other weirdos, and the paranoid daddy that became Muslim, the paranoid daddy mama that became Muslim. Everything they say is valid. I mean, it's very similar to a cult. The way that it's being done, the way that it's being passed on is very much like a cult. Because you have to remove everything, your whole understanding of life in the world has to be removed, and now you got to accept this weirdo bullshit that they passing off as religion.
So this is the framework, or this is the environment that Muslim rap artists have to operate in, and to try to circumnavigate. So that's the reason why it's hard to be successful, because the community doesn't support you. You know,
No, but they will support you once you make it. That's what I'm the example of. They will support you if you make it. It's getting people to not. It's getting people to get from in front of their own self.
When you say make it, do you mean when you make the product? You don't mean make it. You don't mean make it big. You mean just make the product, and just don't worry about it. Just make the product.
Make the product. Muslims are starving for entertainment. Muslims are starving for entertainment to the point that Rick Ross, somebody did it. I can't remember who it was, but they said Rick Ross, literally, him saying "Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam"
right
in a song, sold him another $150,000 in Muslim countries.
Right.
That's how starving they are just for somebody to
now that's the ironic part. The ironic part is that the quote unquote Muslim world, just like we talked about New York, and you looking at yourself in this small mirror, meanwhile 90% of the other black people in America are quote unquote country. The same thing happens to black people in America. We have in all of these different kind of identity crises, but at the end of the day, the black American, point blank period, is the celebrity of the planet. So even though Rick Ross ain't Muslim by a long shot, he just say Assalamu alaikum in the song, and the Muslims in the quote unquote Muslim world is downloading it just to have some kind of connection with a black person in America. That's cool. You know, you say get that Arab money, Arab's gonna love it. Hey, somebody recognize us. So rather than tapping into all of that, cats is scared and creating whack ass music, trying to navigate the minefield of this dysfunctional black Muslim psychology.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think some of it has to do with people not really being real with themselves. You know, an Arab is not gonna like you acting like an Arab. So that's not cool. And I think something that the brother alluded to that's very important, that I don't just say it, hip hop is full of that right now. It's people really want something real, but fronting is like the new clout chasing. And then for the youth, they have this thing where it's clout over everything and anything. So that means they're killing motherfucker clout. Like, so we in a different kind of era. But just being authentic and telling your own truth, we're going to skip over all that dumb shit. Oh, this is, no, can't say this, can't say that. Because all of that comes from you worried about what somebody else is going to say about it. And you worry about judgment from somebody else. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're not here for all that. We here to, let me hear your story, express your shit. You know how perfect it is and how you wish to make a couple extra replies. That's cool, but like, let me hear the real. You know what I'm saying? So you can't mash your shit behind the kufi. You black, something struggle like it is what it is, and you don't gotta be, looking real crazy and embarrassing people. But you don't have to be like walking on an eggshell. Oh, can't say that. Soft law police about to pull me over for hell again. Like, you gotta cut that out. the Arabs. Yeah, it's just like what you was talking about with the Arabs, and they got money with Disney and this and that. They no stuff for the police pull up. They just get money with Disney and I call it. It's another deal. Cut the check. Period.
Here.
They never saying it's stuff for the police, but they get the deal with Disney. So I'm gonna cut the shit out. You know what I'm saying? I ain't telling nobody what to do. I'm just saying what not to do. Don't cut yourself out the deal because you want to be in judgment. Because you think somebody's watching you and the stop law police gonna pull you over again. You know, like it's funny because this is like the invisible bully. Just like when you talked about, or people talk about interest and riba, and how there's definitive differences in between these things, but people had it been confused because it's just based on trying to scare you off. And a lot of the times they come from ignorance, because if you understood what it was, you wouldn't be scared by it. You know what I'm saying? So by you not knowing what something is, you're intimidated by it, scared. Oh no. Sorry, police. Here we go again. So it's almost a theme, you know. Then whenever they want to scare you away from it, they just tell you to start fraud. Don't do that. Start fraud. Oh, you know, you can't buy property. That's real. All of this good credit, all these different kind of jobs. Nobody want to buy nothing, man. Nothing.
Nobody want to buy nothing.
Oh, stop for law. So I said, damn, you know, countries wasn't how can that happen? Start for law, what do you have it? Oh no, we found out the other hadith. I wish I would have saw that 20 years ago. The other hadith shit that had
But that's the point, is that they really messing up people's lives. And so to just let them, without checking people, to just continue to let that narrative be out there, and you really fucking up people's lives. Like, you really cause divorces, you really cause these kids to grow up poor and jumping from one apartment to the next, and you know, on food stamps and all kind of stuff when it's unnecessary because you want to sell turtles and keep it real on some weak hadith. You know what I'm saying? Like most of hadith that most black Muslims follow, they not even strong hadith. They weak hadith that are just culturally practiced over in some country, over in some Arab country. So it's a real ignorance when it comes to entertainment. When it comes to a whole lot of things we do as American descendants of slaves in this country, but especially with music, because your you know, I don't even use instruments now. So they say that you can't use instruments. Everything I use is a made up electronic sound. I don't even use it. I might sample some that they use instruments, but the music that I make, it's coming from a keyboard. It's coming from an MPC. It's a fake made up sound anyway.
Yeah,
you
so it's saying thing is supposed to be a wind instrument. So if you're saying this is a wind instrument, is well, this is a synthesizer. You know what I'm saying? So what now what you gotta say? You know?
What you gotta say? It's literally fake made up sound, and then I can play a wind instrument and make it sound like a guitar. So it really don't. So what you saying? Like at this point, even having the conversations to me are just stupid conversations. And for me, it creates a delineation. It's people that I rock with, it's Muslims that I rock with, and it's Muslims that I give them whatever their rights are at that moment. That's it. That's the way that I see the Muslim movement now. Once you start kicking that dumb, all that spooky shit, all that Arab shit, then I'm just like, okay, you're somebody that if the situation comes up, I got to give you your rights. And I know what that is, and I'm gonna do that. Not for you, I'm gonna do it because I'm trying to be a decent Muslim. But then there's people over here, what I call the 10%, or the 10% that I rock with. And it's like we can grow and we can do some stuff. Even if we don't do anything, we vibing off each other, getting ideas and stuff with each other. And I want to see you be very successful in whatever it is that you're trying to do. I think that's what we got to start doing. It's just give obligation to the stop with our police people and rock with the other people.
Right. Yeah, I think that's important, and like you said, sometimes you have aversion to, like what you're saying, the stop for law police, so that makes you not do things, or it discourages you from doing certain things. So that's why it's important to tap in with cats. It's like, no, let's get this done, because that's a whole different energy. You know what I mean? And
right, the two ain't spooky. Like you can't. To me, I judge people's Islam by how spooky they are. This is just me personally. Not that I'm judging them whether or not they're going to paradise or whatever, but I judge people's level of Islam the way that I interact with them based on how spooky they are. The minute you start acting spooky, or the minute you start acting like like there's a Khalifa in place and there's administrators all over and it's easy to get a ruling. When you start acting like that, then that's when I got to back away from it, because that's not the reality that we live in. We live in a reality that it's a fucking free for all,
Right.
and there is no Muslim leadership. And you got leaders in countries that are telling you you can't do stuff when they're over there doing it, and they're living off of it. So you got a scholar telling you that you can't get a mortgage in America, but part of the money they making is going back into their pocket because the king owns everything, and they got the public fund of whether it's Jordan, whether it's Saudi, whether it's Kuwait, whether it's Yemen, whatever. They're investing in mortgages and car loans and boat loans and all that type of stuff in America, and that's the money. That's where you get your little stipend from every month.
Right.
So it's literally fucking criminal the way that we allow people to bully us mentally and how we just give it up. I mean, we literally no Vaseline. We just y'all just screw us over and mess our minds up and tell us we good Muslims. That's all we want. For you, master, to tell me I'm a good Muslim, and I ain't talking about the law. I'm talking about whoever we mentally give our bayat to, whether it's Saudi, whether it's the Arab in the mountains that ain't never left Saudi, or whether it's Afghanistan, Pakistan, whoever telling you that spooky bullshit, they got you fucked up selling turtles. That's who, man, leave that shit alone, man.
So leave that shit alone, man.
Oh.
So
Hey, yeah, let's go ahead and
yeah, so it's getting a little bit late, so we're gonna wrap it up. I guess we'll talk later. Inshallah, it's been a good one. This is a little bit of hip hop. This is a little bit about the hip hop and the culture and this rap thing. I think we squashed the beef. I don't know, man. I gotta think about this. I mean, Southern rap is good. I gotta think about this. You might have squashed the beef, man, but you know what I mean. I gotta talk to my man Just
It
B.
really ain't no beach because, like I was saying earlier, I had to be able to learn all the different sounds to have the complete sound. Like, I don't know if I told you the the vibe African Bambaataa, when he was doing his DJ thing, he was mixing all of the different sounds from different areas. Oh, it was nice. So yeah, he was mixing all the different sounds together from different places I know of. So yeah, hip hop is not stuck in one place. It's not stuck.
Yeah, because that rocket don't
stuck
stop. That's straight. That rocket don't stop. You can put that on anywhere in the South to this day, and people will throw their baby down to vibe and dance to that. Don't rock and don't stop, man.
Right.
Rock. But that's a classic forever.
Right.
Forever down south.
Mm.
And that's what New York got away from.
So Sonic Force.
They got away from making music for the people and just got into making music for themselves, for their credibility in the hood.
So
the crazy part about it is that commercially, that's no good. It's good for you to make a song that you want to hit for yourself, but that ain't gonna work for you. It's not time for you to family. You have to make a song everybody.
The minute New York rappers stop trying to be hard and start making money, it's gonna be a rap for whoever else out there, because New York is just rap better lyrics. I mean, it's just not all New Yorkers can rap better than everywhere else, but per capita, that's where the spitters are. But so the minute they ready to stop the whack shit and start making music that people want to hear, they gonna be back into the game. And it can't be. You can't just get on a beat and then make another mafia song. When y'all decide to use those lyrics for some vibe and shit, it's a win. Let's hear a breakup song. What happened to fucking LL? I need love. When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall. What happened to that? Why we can't get that? What happened to Jay-Z's song cry? Why we can't get some more of that type shit? Everybody want that. Everybody want that.
It's needed. I would say, for a person to come from a country that's not this country and to be making all these emotional songs and all that kind of stuff and like kind of like rubbing it in the face. It's so funny how this fronting and this clout thing has totally assumed every other state, right? So nobody's in love anymore. Nobody cries. Nobody has pain. Everything each other. It don't go nowhere. It just goes to that floor.
Well, that's the thing. See, but rather than lamenting all of that, you can lament that and become jaded about that. But really, that just means that there's opportunity to do it. You know what I'm saying? All that means is that there's an opportunity to do it. And once you do it, then, then that void will be filled. People can't say that no more. Riyadh can't ask that question no more once you make that music, So if people's missing it, nobody else is doing it, that's great. That means when you do it, it'll be like no one's ever done it before. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So listen, fellas, we're going to wrap it up, inshallah. Great talking to you guys as always. And we got to try to get on a more consistent basis. But we're gonna get this album done. We're going to get this Riyadh Just Be joint. And I've thrown a couple of my rusty ass East Coast boom bap joints in there too, just to keep it honest. But let's get something done, inshallah. All right, fellas. Assalamu alaikum.
Just be. Los Rubies. One of those could be yours. Lost daughters who torture, self-hate, raw beauty. Could've named you Ruby. My apologies, broken family trees. I spoke, it had to be. Paining you, raising you. Since you've been touched by such and such and been the same you. Can't trust a man in this life. She cries every night. Suicide in her thoughts. Sexing became the sport. Years past depression and came to snort.